Chairman Woolsey, I want to thank you for holding this hearing. I want to thank our distinguished panel of witnesses for appearing today, and especially for our colleagues for taking time to join us today. Today's hearing provides members of this subcommittee with an opportunity to discuss the Family and Medical Leave Act and a couple of legislative proposals aimed at promoting healthy families. At first blush, how can any member of Congress on either side not support healthy families? If you've been here for any length of time, you know that the titles of bills are always wonderful, and certainly we support healthy families. However, once you examine beyond the title of the Healthy Families Act, it becomes clear that nearly the only thing appealing about the bill is its title. Enacting this particular proposal would require countless U.S. employers, even those with as few as 15 employees, to provide paid sick leave to every single employee for a range of medical and non-medical conditions, both great and small. By way of contrast, that's a threshold far lower than the law currently mandates with respect to unpaid leave for serious health conditions or the birth of a child under the Family and Medical Leave Act. We on this side are gravely concerned with the impact that this legislation will have on the U.S. economy, on employers, on workers, and on job creation. It represents an intrusion, a further intrusion of the federal government into the benefits policies of millions of companies, both large and small. The most troubling aspect of the Healthy Families Act is that it ultimately threatens to harm workers by way of lower wages and fewer opportunities. If this were implemented, the costs of government-mandated benefits would be passed on to American workers through reduced wages and fewer jobs. At the very moment when Americans are worried about losing their job, this proposal undercuts job creation through higher employer costs. Employers around this nation see this type of legislation right now, and many have frozen any hiring because they don't know how severe government dictates will be. This Congress and this administration are killing the possibility of even having new jobs. What we urge this committee to do is to keep facts about the current workforce in perspective. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that in 2008, 93% of full-time employees were provided paid time off that could be used in the event of an illness, and 51% of part-time workers had paid illness leave. In 2008, 79% of low-wage workers, and by that I mean folks making between $7.25 and $14.99 an hour, had paid illness leave. Last year, 94% of large employers offered paid leave that could be used for illness, as did 76% of small businesses, meaning those with less than 50 employees. The facts suggest that we should not be imposing costly and new one-size-fits-all burdens on businesses based on any faulty assumptions about the workplace. Putting these facts aside, I'm also concerned that this proposal raises a host of unanswered questions and indeed stretches far beyond the reach of what its proponents claim it does. For instance, supporters claim that the Healthy Families Act will have no effect on businesses that already provide paid sick leave. But taking a closer look at the fine print makes it clear that it's only those employers who provide leave that meet the exact conditions and circumstances set forth in the bill. How many employers do we think will meet that standard specifically, especially after bureaucrats in Washington here draft hundreds of pages of federal regulations? Turning to the second bill that we will examine this morning, the Family Income to Respond to Significant Transitions Act. It's sponsored by our chairwoman. Her efforts and commitment to improving workplace environments across this country are to be applauded. But the proposal itself appears to put Washington in the business of paying for sick days to the tune of about $1.5 billion over the next 4 years. At a time when we're facing massive record budget deficits and the President has us on a path to raising the national debt to $23.1 trillion by 2019, this is a road that America can simply not afford. Even in the absolute best economic climate, this is a questionable idea far beyond the appropriate role, many believe, of the federal government. As I close, I look forward to hearing from our witnesses, but I wonder if if the chair might answer a process question. This week, House Democrats released their plan to reform America's health care system. It's been suggested that reform of the Family and Medical Leave Act should be included as part of that final package, and I'd suggest that adding that reform, such as this, would be too important to be tucked away into a massive overhaul and should be vetted and debated separately on its merits. And I wonder if it's the committee's intention to include reforms of the Family and Medical Leave Act in the House version of health reform expected a vote later this summer.
Well, that's, I can only respond from what I know, and I'm not privy to any detail on that right now.
Great, and I thank the chairwoman.